Italian Wine Podcast. Chin Chin with Italian Wine People.
Hello, this is the Italian Wine Podcast. My name is Monty Waldin. My guest today is Giuseppe Sala from I Selvatici, a winery founded in 1953 by your grandfather, I think. Is that correct?
Correct. Buongiorno. And yes, my grandfather founded the winery moving from Lake Como and sold the flowers business that he had there and moved here in Tuscany and bought the property.
Okay. So he wasn't a sharecropper or a mezzadro. He was a businessman.
Yes. They were in the flower business with many, greenhouse around Lake Como. And he was, growing flowers, especially, very high-end flowers. He sold the business and bought here after, they come to see in the 50s, but then he really bought after, the Mezzadria. Okay. And actually, our first workers, they were working here as Mezzadri.
Okay. So initially, what was grown on your family estate? Was it cereal crops like wheat and corn?
Mm-hmm. Principal was corn, okay, and there was just a few
Maize, yeah?
mais, corretto, bravo, and there was some grapes, vines, but they were loppy, like a little trees, okay, around the property.
La cultura promiscua?
Cultura promiscua, bravo, yes.
When he planted the vineyard then, how did he set the vineyard up? Did he plant Sangiovese? What did he plant?
In the beginning, he planted, of course, Sangiovese, okay, and then Canaiolo and Malvasia Nera. That was the beginning. But really, the Alta Densità vineyards, it's been my dad.
And your dad is called?
Fausto. Fausto, it's my father.
When your grandfather planted the first vineyard, how did he set the vineyard up?
Okay, my grandfather planted the first vineyards in 1964, and he planted mixed, like was in the past, typical in the past, with one vineyards mixed with Sangiovese, Canaiolo, and Malvasia Bianca. But my grandfather unfortunately passed away very young, 54 years old. So it's my dad, and then complete everything.
What did you learn from your grandfather and father in terms of viticulture?
Oh, for sure, the tradition that we used to have and we have to make the wine, and especially one thing that we really hereditate and we follow in the same rules is to make our Vinsanto, that it's really something that was taught to him by the Mezzadri that they were here. And then my father, transmit everything to me.
Yeah, I had a question about the your grandfather's first wine was the famous 1958 Vinsanto. How much time did that spend in barrel?
Yes, the first was the 1958 Vinsanto, and it's been in the Caratelli for 40 years. 1958, I opened the Caratello in 1998. 40 years in the Caratello, yes.
Yeah, I had a question mark about that 40 years. I thought that must be a mistake. And that's pretty unique, isn't it?
Very unique. And if I have to tell you the truth, is when I went to open the barrel, the Caratelli, I was going there just to see if something was good or not, but ready to trash everything. That was because I needed space to put new barrel, and by chance I found that is nectar.
Well, by chance, that's an incredible discovery.
Oh yeah. It's been something that's the reason. After 40 years, 3 Caratelli, they were like approximately the 30% of the liquid inside because mostly was the mother, the sediments. So I made only 141 bottle of 200 milliliters.
Why did you call your family called the winery I Selvatici, the wild ones? Why was that?
Because it was already named the location where we live, because it's a location. Okay, it's already named, and we found map from the 1500 with the name. The borgo already named like that. So my grandfather left the name, the same name.
So you've worked in California for Opus One, and you were working there when that was one of the most famous wineries on the planet. How did somebody from really the kind of one of the least known areas of Tuscany end up in California at such an incredibly famous winery?
Oh, because I had some, I was so young. I was 21 years old. Okay. And I had the chance to have a grape harvest with them. Okay. And because my father was exporting with a little company called back in the days Monte Bianco Imports in San Francisco, and he was knowing some people in the Mondavi winery, and that's how probably one of best experience of my life.
So what did you learn from, I mean, what did you learn any new winemaking techniques, or was it more about styling wines for, because at that time consumers were really looking for softer wines with a little bit of oak?
Yeah, because that's how, this is the new world making wine, and they were completely, totally different grapes, okay? Like Cab, Merlot, and all like that. Absolutely, the technology in the cellar, what they still have in California, it's very difficult to get here. Means just only maybe big wineries that can maybe afford this kind of technology. And when I come back, I was so excited when I come back home here and say, you know what, we need to make this kind of, the famous Opus One or Camus, like that, Cabernet Merlot. And my dad told me soon, see, you just get the wrong things, because here you have to follow in your tradition, what your land give the best. And absolutely, he was right. That's for sure.
How do you feel about alternative ways of making wine, like sort of natural wine and no sulfite wines or orange wines? Do you have any strong opinions about those?
Let's say, I can tell you my opinion. Okay. My opinion is so far, I think it's a little bit, today probably it's a little bit too early to say I want to invest in that. Okay. Because I really never find something that kept my attention, like to say, wow. And I bet because it's not easy, okay? For sure, much more organic than biodynamics. That's for sure. But that's, just my opinion, okay? Because it's too early, because I'm saying probably in the near future, the science is going to find out probably something that it's going to help the biodynamic, for stay away from disease.
Okay, you did some wine tastings online via Zoom. How did that go?
Oh, amazing. I believe it almost at zero from that. And then it's going very well also because, most of my customers, let's say the 80% of my winery customers are private. So private means that they are locked in the home and they have to do something. Okay. So I had a great feedback. I already did, I'm at home. I can't go in the States and do anything probably until next year. So, and I had a very good response from the customers. And I have about 20 of virtual wine testing already, 5 already done. I do events also for many of foundations, that are for children or like that. So they are really very well organized, and they want to continue. So I'm happy.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a little bit about your wines. You make a Malvasia Biancolunga Toscana, Malvasia Biancolunga. Tell me about the Malvagia wine that you make.
Okay, my Malvagia wine we are talking about 3,500 bottles in total. And is the very ancient grape that originally is a Malvasia di Montegonzi, that is a little town up on the hill of my winery here, that my grandfather got, back in the days, make the graft with that clone. And now we have about 1.5 hectares of Malvasia Bianca. Very full body, very unusual, absolutely dry. It's not sweet, okay? And it's a new entry because it's about 20 years that we make this 100% Malvasia. I just fermented in the oak and got a very big response in all my customers. It's really a white wine that you can easily age for 2-3 years and still keep the full body and the freshness. Very, very interesting. Unfortunately, we don't have that quantity now that, we started as a new wine just to have a white. It's picked up very, very well now.
What's a good food match for the Malvagia?
Okay, if we want to stay with the Tuscany style, absolutely eggplants parmigiana, because it's rich, so can handle also white meat, and of course you can have that with some fish too, like many different wine, but really excel with some Tuscany tradition. Example, my mom eggplants parmigiana, it's perfect.
That sounds good. Okay, let's talk about your red wines with the Chianti Colli di OCG Reserva.
So we make two different red. Okay, a Chianti Reserva 2016, that it's a blend made with still 90% Sangiovese, 5% Canaiolo, and 5% Mammolo. Sometimes we put inside some Malvasia Nera. Okay, depends from the vintage, and so this is something that it's only aged in steel tank. Okay, and it's our, let's say, we produce about 40,000 bottles a year, maybe something less of that.
What is a good food match for that? When you talk about the Reserva, you're talking about Titolato?
Yes.
A good food match for the Reserva Titolato, the Chianti di OCG Reserva?
A good food match of that, I really love tagliatelle with bolognese sauce. This is one of my favorites.
Yeah, because you're not, where you are in Arezzo, you're not exactly far from Emilia-Romagna.
Absolutely. Yeah. But, probably to be exactly, we call, it's the same, but we call a ragu here. Bolognese sauce is something more, Emilia-Romagna. Okay, what we are close, and there is some little difference on the ingredients in the making, but very likely different.
Okay, so that was Titolato. What about Capitolare di Cardisco? That's a red wine made from, I think, 100% Sangiovese, giusto?
Yes, always been 100% Sangiovese. Most of the people, they ask me always, why your Super Tuscan it's 100% Sangiovese? Because my family, it's always been fan of the Sangiovese and following the tradition about the 100% Sangiovese. So it's always aged 5 years, and the last 24 months in French and American oak at the 50%. It's really our crew. We make something less than 10,000 bottles a year, and it's our top of the line.
It's a very interesting way of aging the wine by leaving it 2 years in anaerobic almost conditions in the stainless steel and then giving it wood at the end. Why do you do it that way?
Okay, I do it that way. Okay, remember, we have a very simple cellar. It's very good for us. This wine, especially the Sangiovese, need really to the cant and the tank. It's really, when it's clean, we don't use any kind of filter except when we filter at the end, but you can imagine after 5 years, we just filter very not tight. And so that's the reason. The last 24 months, I'm not a big fan of the wine that they have to stay too much on the wood. Especially the Sangiovese have to be light because, Sangiovese is typical from fruity flavor. If stay really too long on the wood or get the wood, I think, at the wrong time, it's not really, you're going to cover the characteristic of the grapes. That's my opinion.
It's a very interesting way of doing it. If you said to me, Monty, today you're going to be interviewing a guy that worked for Opus One, you're kind of thinking, right, very modern, quite a bit of obvious new oak, and your winemaking style is kind of. I just find that very interesting.
Yeah, but it's okay. When I was there, I was like a kid, okay, 20 and some years old, okay, absolutely with a lot of passions. But my family winery is just a little, everything here. It's really we don't have machines or equipment that, example, you can create some wine like Beaujolais or something fresh or new. Okay, it's very important for us before to bottling the wine to make all the chemical analysis for to see all the, especially when we go to bottling the white wine. Oh God, it's always because I have to do analysis and be sure that all the proteins are gone, okay, because we don't want any problem in the bottle. It's the old style, okay, that's really the whole style. So you have to be handled with care, I think, and the work, our work in the cellar, there is much more work than to have all the technology in the cell. Absolutely, the technology helps, but remember, we are just. This is my little family winery that we have 12 hectares, 11 and a half hectares. Okay, so, and we want to stay like that. And I really got all of that after came back from California for sure, because teach me a lot, but also in a different way. So that was my.
So when you're in California, did you manage to visit any other wineries around around Napa or Carneros?
Oh yeah, yeah. I really, I'm going also when I can. Of course, not this year, okay. But I'm going every year. So I'm trying always to arrange some my wine event in California, just for to go around for some winery and discover some new because it's always growing. Now I have some friends there in Paso Robles. There's another great area. It's big. In the past, I was like a big fan. There was when I was there. There was not so many winery like now. Now there is the quality. First of all, went up a lot in many different, also different part of California, but not only in California. Think about. I'm a big fan of wine from Washington State. Example, it's I think those kinds of wine are more close to us here in Tuscany, means the making, than the Californians.
Well, I mean, it's interesting you talk about Washington State. They seem to make very direct wines, particularly varietal wines. Is that what you like about the Washington State wines compared to Tuscany?
Oh yeah. It's also because of course, outside Tuscany, I'm a big fan. Always been a big fan of Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon. I think Washington State now it's very close to California, and in some case, I appreciate more. Also because I went around a little bit. It's oh God, I don't remember the name. Walla Walla. Okay, yes, from Walla Walla. And I went a little bit around, and I really see little family winery around. California, you see more big estates, okay, and something like that. If you are like in Napa and so on.
So, and should we finish? Have we said everything we need to know about the Vinsanto del Chianti con gli Aretini?
Yes, absolutely. You want to know? Yeah, we talk about the 1958 that was 40 years in the barrel, but the usual Vinsanto that we produce, it's always from 13 to 14 years old. Now we are handling the 2004, almost finished. And this is our, let's say, dessert wine, but a dessert wine that have very good combination also with foie gras, with very different, not only dessert, absolutely. And is the one that for sure is exactly the same wine that my grandfather was making. We exactly the same. In the red and we just change some little quantity or Sangiovese, or like that. So we just the Vinsanto is still exactly the same.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful that you make a Vinsanto like your grandfather would have made, with the red variety in there as well, and the Trebbiano Toscano, which everybody hates or just completely disparages, but and obviously with the Malvasia Bianca as well. Yeah, it's wonderful to see someone. I mean, you're still quite young, carrying on that tradition, and not only just carrying it on, but also doing it in a really accessible style with technology is one thing, and also with a lot of thought and respect to your family forebears, and I really applaud you for that. And I've actually, you won't remember this, but when I moved to Tuscany in about 2004, 2005, one of my first visits was to your family winery. It would have been in, I don't know, I think 2005 at some stage.
Yeah, I remember. It's long, probably it's long ago, because I remember you came in my tasting room, and my tasting room it's built in 1999, so it was just a few years that it was built. I remember it was not finished yet completely. And one thing that I would like to say about, when I come back from the States last March, completely locked down here, I was very worried about the wine business, because I already understood that everything was going to be closed for months, okay? And I was really, really afraid. Then the answer from the people, especially from the private, we probably did well last summer with no tourists here than the summer before with the tourists. It's weird to say that, but that's what's happened so far today.
Okay. I just want to say thanks to my guest today, Giuseppe Sala from I Selvatici. And it's been great to talk to you after so many years. And I do hope you can continue making the wines that you do in the way that you do, traditional, a blend of traditional and modern, which is not always easy to get right. It sounds easy on paper, but it's not. And it's great to talk to you again. And hopefully we can see each other face to face in Arezzo province at some stage in the future. Io sono a Montalcino, I'm in Montalcino, so I'll drive over and come and see you. We can have a good old.
Absolutely. Montalcino, hey, you have to go. My best friends, it's Paolo. You know Paolo that owns Caprilli Winery?
Caprilli, yeah.
Caprilli, Paolo, it's a dear friend. We have the same importer in Japan, and we are very close friends. Anyway, you are always welcome here, man. When you want, we're going to drink a glass of wine together.
Yeah, but I'd love to try the Vinsanto again and the other wines as well. Giuseppe, thank you so much. Giuseppe Sala from the I Selvatici Winery in Arezzo province. Thank you so much for coming on the Italian Wine Podcast today. Great to hear your insights about winemaking and also your family history, which is a lovely story that you're perpetuating via the wines that you make. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and hope to see you soon.
Listen to the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Himalaya FM, and more. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the show. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. Until next time, cin cin.